Alright, so this is an exciting day for me. I got this PDP controller. I didn't find out till yesterday. They sent me an email and they overnight shipped it to me. So it's almost like I'm a famous YouTuber. I did request them to send it to me, but I didn't know for sure they were going to. Either way, I got it. Let's check it out. I didn't know that they were sending me two controllers. So I was pretty surprised when I opened this. Excitedly surprised. Actually, I'd already ordered one because my son was going to want one. I'll add that screenshot here somewhere in the video. So they sent me a red one and a black one. I'd already ordered the purple one. I'll probably still keep it. For one, I want to support the company because they're being cool to me. And, you know, I can always use an extra controller. So there's the red camouflage one and the black camouflage one. They're essentially the same controllers, just a different faceplate, right? There's no actual differences between the products themselves. Alright, so here is the paper they gave me that just shows some details about the device itself. So of course it has the 3.5mm audio jack, which is one of the best features, right, that does the in-game audio, like for games like Fortnite or Realm Royale. And that plugs into the USB side to free up the audio port from the switch itself. So adjust the sound on the fly using the D-pad, so that can be beneficial. Quickly mute your mic with a function button. We'll try that out. Customize your gameplay with the programmable backstyle button, so we like that. We originally have the PowerA controllers, and that was one of the main selling points of them, is they have those little buttons on the back. My son uses that all the time for Fortnite. You can also swap out the faceplates. That would be cool if you get different characters and stuff added. We'll see how that goes. Responsive low friction analog sticks, so we'll test it out when we actually play it. And I like the fact that it has the 10-foot USB cord with plenty of room to play. So these PowerA controllers are battery powered, and we blow through batteries like crazy because we're at home all the time. So I tried using this one, but I didn't like the controller as well. That's the PowerA wired controller, and of course we have the Switch Pro controller, but it got crazy dripped where it was almost unplayable. So we have this PowerA wired controller, but it doesn't feel the same as the other controller and doesn't work as well. Like, it kind of irritates my finger. I made a video about how that irritates my hand on the grip there. I actually prefer the battery powered grip for the PowerA ones, but of course the batteries suck. So I'm looking forward to checking out this new controller, because I think the PDP may be my new favorite controller if the grip is correct for my hand size. And of course, you know, I like being able to plug the microphone into it, and I like not having to deal with batteries. Let's open this guy up. On the back, you can see it shows the D-pad. There's the port to plug in, and of course the function button to remap those pedals in the back. When we open them up, it's just a little bit of tape. Standard fare here. There's my switch. We can pull them out here. We'll see there's a little pamphlet that comes with it. The name of the product is the Faceoff Deluxe Plus Audio Wired Controller. It just rolls right off the tongue. Smooth naming convention there. Anyhow, so here's the cord. You can see the black faceplate is really cool looking. I like that design, that black camo. It's just neat looking. That comes off. You just gotta there's no directions really. You just kind of put your fingernail in there is what I did, and then just kind of pull on it. I felt like it was gonna break for a second, but it's sturdy once you get off there. You just pull on it and it pops right off. You know, it's pretty sturdy material. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break once it's off. And then in theory, you know, you could, yeah, you can see the back. There's nothing cool. You know, in theory, you could use this by itself. I mean, I wouldn't do that, of course, but it does look pretty cool with those plates. Hopefully, they'll have some different designs so you can swap it out. There's to compare the size to the PowerA controller. The PowerA is a little fatter on the bottom, I believe. That part there, it seems a little thick, whereas it's a pretty good grip size. And there's those little buttons on the back. You can see them indenting there. I had to cut that video off. It was getting too much static, and I had to change microphones out. I already recorded this video, but so I've had this now for about an hour or two because I was messing with it. Let's compare these controllers to controller, right? This is the PDP controller, and this is the PowerA controller, and this is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. The Pro controller is the heaviest controller, followed by the PDP, and the PowerA is way lighter. The buttons feel pretty good. Again, I don't know if it's new necessarily could be the difference, because they feel clickier than most of these other controllers. But these PowerA controllers my son uses, and it's like I taught a wild animal how to play video games, the way he just mashes the shit out of the controllers, right? So if you ever watch Planet of the Apes, we're not talking Caesar, we're talking one of the less smart apes that's trying to play video games. That's what he's like when he mashes on the controller. So he's already blown out this controller, and he's moved on to this controller. So hopefully the PDP can withstand his button mashing madness. But as far as currently fresh out the box, there's a really good feel to all these buttons, right? I mean, they're very clicky. Try to put the microphone next to them so you can hear. That's the back panel buttons. There's the individual buttons. On the back panel, if you wanted to, you can do this and take that off, right? So this piece just comes right off. And then the buttons are actually in here. It's still indents there. You could still play it like that. It's a little awkward to press the buttons that way. But your fingers do kind of just naturally, at least mine do, just kind of sit in there. So it could be a good way to play and hold it. Because I'm not going to use the back buttons. Probably my son will use them like crazy, but I won't particularly use them. Other comparisons. The D-pad is pretty good on the Pro controller. Seems just fine on the PDP. And I don't have any problems with it on the PowerA as well. Again, all the buttons are kind of the same. One thing to note is the sticks. So on the Pro controller, they're wider at the tops of the joysticks, right? You can see that versus the PowerA. Maybe. And then if you compare that to here, they're about the same size on the PDP. At least the circumference or circular area here is about the same size on the PDP as on the PowerA, but smaller than the Pro controller, which if you're going to put those little button caps on, like they came with the Satisfy grip, or those little Clean Freaks or whatever, they're not, if the one that's made for the Pro controller may not fit this controller. It's just something to keep in mind. It does appear to stick up taller than both the Pro controller and the PowerA, at least in my initial vision, right? I mean, I haven't measured it or anything, but just my eyeball glancing at it, it seems like they're taller, which to me I assume is a good thing. What else we got? So we have, oh, of course you can see here's the headphone jack. That's the main event, right? So you can plug this guy into here. And there is your headphone jack. Here is your function button if you want to program these back buttons. I'll go over that in a little bit later on. One thing to note, it might throw you off a little bit. It did me when I was first setting this controller up and messing with it. These buttons are a little bit different positions and rearranged. So like on the Pro controller, there's the minus and screenshot. And here it's screenshot then minus. And here it is home button and plus button. And here it is plus button and home button. See? The PowerA aligns with the Pro controller, whereas, you know, the PDP does their own thing. I don't know why. It won't be a problem. They still work. It's just you may have a little muscle memory relearning to do. Another thing to note, the buttons are somewhat flush. These 4 buttons here on the Pro controller. On the PowerA, they're very raised. You can see how much higher they stick up. And I would call PDP somewhere in the middle, right? It's not as flush as the Pro controller, but also they don't stick up anywhere near as high as they do on the PowerA controllers. Which, I mean, I do kind of like how much they stick up here, but I don't like how flush they are here. So this controller does not come out On the other side is a USB-A. It has a little nub here so you know which side's which. There's no dial to adjust the volume on it. You can't plug it in directly into the switch because that's a C port and this is an A port. You have to use the dock. You may be able to use some kind of janky adapter, but I would not recommend that. Just for reference, here is the PowerA wired controller. And these are much wider. You can see how just gigantic they are, really, compared to the other ones. So it's just interesting. This is the Pro controller, and this is the PowerA wired. As I said earlier, I made a video. This kind of nub thing just sticks out, and it kind of irritates my finger right through here when I play it too much on this controller. I use this controller most often because it's wired, so I'm looking forward to using this bad boy because I feel like it doesn't have that jutting out piece that this has, and it won't irritate my hand like this one does. I got big hands. I'm 6'1", 250. Solid muscle, and this this extra little function button here. So I mean, it fits my hands pretty good. I got little baby hands over here, and let's see how it fits my son's tiny little hands. Let's see if you can get in the camera. That would probably help. So he seems alright. He's 15 years old. He weighs about 500 pounds. I don't know, he's 100 pounds maybe. Zero muscle there, whereas I'm solid muscle. Him, zero muscle. So here's the red one that we were already setting up. It's really cool looking. I hope that comes through on the camera. So one positive thing about this, right off the bat, as you can see, here's our switch with the dock sock. My son normally has this plugged in here. That's his HypeX headphones. But I want him to use a dust cover when he's not using it. And with that there, obviously it doesn't go on correctly, right? So now he can just plug the headphones into his PDP controller, and when he's not using the switch, the dust cover will go on just fine. Or at least mostly fine, right? Just for demonstration purposes, we'll set up the black guy. Right, so obviously you have these two USB ports on the side. You have some on the back as well. Any of them will work just fine. So as soon as you plug it in with a nub towards you, see that nub towards you. As soon as you plug it in, it lights up. Another thing to note, as soon as you plug it in, up here, it lets you know you have USB audio. So I'm going to unplug it. And now I'm going to plug it in. So as soon as you plug in the controller, so when I plug it in itself, it does nothing. But whenever you plug in the controller, now it should say USB audio. So the fact that that cuts off like that is going to be relevant if you try to record something. I'll cover that probably in another video for streaming purposes. For now, let's just go ahead and program this guy. So as you can see, it works just fine. And now the audio is coming out of this headset. That's the one I have plugged in. So what we're going to do now is go to System Settings, Controllers, and Sensors. Hit A, scroll on down, and there's a Test Input Devices option. So you can test controller buttons. So you can see all the buttons work just like normal, right? So what I'm going to do now is program these back buttons. We already programmed my son's, so basically you hold this down and then press the button you want, and it should light up. And you want that to be here. So now I'll push this button. So when I push this button, it should be this button. So hold down this button, the function button, and then press the one you want to program. The light will blink 3 times, and then you press the button you want to tie it to. So we're going to tie the left paddle to the left D-pad. So we're going to hold down this function button, turn it around, hit this guy. Now it should be flashing, and then we'll hit this guy. So now when I test my controller buttons, these of course still work. So you can see them showing up there, but then when I hit the back sides, it does those as well, right? My son uses that in Fortnite. And of course it doesn't, you can hit these buttons all you want and it will help you control out there. Alright, so now we're going to do a quick test for Fortnite audio, testing both the wired version and the regular version. We're going to test it wiring it through here and through the red controller, which is what he's going to be using. In case you're wondering how big the PDP controller is in reference to Simon the Havishon, I'll show you. See? Alright, so now you can see this controller is plugged in. This HypeX gaming headset is plugged into that controller. On the screen, we have my son's account, 5after12 _ YouTube, playing against Mike Attack, which is my account. My computer is recording on the other side, so we'll be able to capture the audio quality. Oh, side note, if you press the function that makes the volume go up or down, I don't know if you can hear from here, but it beeps when it gets to a max volume. And you can double tap it to mute. And then when it's muted, it's lit up. So you can see that light. And then when I double tap it again, it's unmuted. So now it's muting your microphone. And then there. And then again, hold this down and up. I'll get my mic close to these headphones so you can hear it beeps when you get to the max volume level. Alright, so now I'm going to switch to the computer recording. But keep in mind, this first video is with this plugged in. Alright, so now I'm plugged directly into the controller. You should be able to hear me. I am recording on my computer, so you should see the iconic guy moving around, and I'm talking using the PDP controller with the iconic skin. This is plugged directly into the PDP controller. I'm now going to unplug it. So now I am plugged directly into the switch itself. So we'll see if we can hear any difference in audio quality from my recording on the AverMedia. Alright, now I'm going to show you, this is back on my computer. I'm recording through the AverMedia. I just wanted to show you how much better I am than he is. Now I just wanted to show you how much better I am than he is. Alright, you ready? Okay, you ready to play for real? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. There you go. You can see how much better I am than him. That was really a fair match. We both tried, and I really dominated. Alright, so thanks for checking me out. I like this controller a lot. I've played with it for about an hour or two now. I'll make some more videos. Just check me out. I'll have videos coming from all these devices. If you want to send me a friend request, you can check me out here. Alright, thanks for checking me out.